guys? This is Hannah from Living Hope Cancer Foundation, and today I am juicing a massive quantity of juice. My husband is in the middle of a 5-day juice fast with vitamins, and I'm doing intermittent fasting, which is just sort of skipping breakfast and breaking my fast with juice. So I'm kind of in a situation where I can't really skip a lot of meals. So because otherwise I'll lose too much weight, because I've been somewhat limited since radiation with a stricture in my esophagus. So but I want to walk you through this beautiful tray, and this is what I do almost every time I juice, is I actually chop everything up, and this is probably about twice as much as we usually use, so don't be daunted by the amount. This is for 2 people, one who's drinking juice only every day. I'm just going to walk through the ingredients with you quick. Look how pretty. So, love all the colors, right? So we usually don't do a lot of greens, but this time we actually got Swiss chard, lemon, cucumber, kale, celery, beet greens. So we actually bought raw beets with the greens attached to it. So I break them off and chop them up. And I usually use those right away if I can. But I don't cut them off till I use them, because actually the beets stay fresher and the greens stay green and they don't get all gross. Italian parsley, ginger, carrots, and this time I'm doing gala and green apples. So I'm trying to change up the flavor a little bit, because we have our normal juicing recipe, and then if that's all you drink every day, you want to have some excitement to the flavors. So this is our juicer, which is a Comfy. Got it on Amazon. It's a bit of a masticating one. I'm trying to get my here. It has like a center in it and really spits out a lot of dry goo. So, which is good, because we've had another one and you could put huge things through it, but it doesn't take all the juice out of everything. So we decided to go upgrade a little bit and get more bang for our buck in that sense. So let's get started. I usually like to start with, just gonna turn it on, some of the softer stuff and then push the harder stuff through it. So it's a great way to get all of my nutrition in these days. Hopefully it's not too loud. Since I had radiation last summer on a node on my pulmonary artery, I actually had a lot of trouble swallowing, ended up with a feeding tube for almost 2 months, where I couldn't eat any food for about 5 weeks and just had feeding through the feeding tube. But I actually juiced and put the juice into my tube. So that is something I realize I get a lot of nutrition that way. That's just raw nutrition, go right to your cells. I'm trying to fix stuff that's not noisy. So, you know, a piece of that for me is like setting myself up for success. Like, yeah, I can't eat raw carrots or really chunky salads, but I can do this. And I'm learning, like, part of that gives me a lot of rest and peace to just put it in my lifestyle. Like, I spend the time, I listen to a podcast while I'm chopping the veggies or music or pray, and make my time worthwhile. Like, this isn't a chore. I love making a beautiful plate of veggies, and I know this is part of my health and wellness, right? So it's worth it to me. We actually did a video on it on the Cancer Roadmap Project on our website. Is it worth the hassle? Like, there are a lot of things that are hassles in life, but to me this is totally worth it. Just like we do laundry, you know, and we clean our toilet. Like, we like clean laundry and clean toilets. For me, it's the same thing. Like, I want to have some nutrition going on in my gut, you know, and set myself up for the healthiest I can be. It doesn't mean I don't eat other things, but it does help me feel better. So I think it's been like a real interesting experiment for myself. I do this every 2 days, and it's just part of my routine now. Like, I don't even think about it. And I think it's been a good thing for me, like, just to plan it into my life. You know, It takes a little while, but it's not hard. It only takes a little while for me when it's a larger amount. So when I do it normally, it probably takes me about 10 minutes to cut up everything, and 5 to 10 minutes to juice, and 5 minutes to clean. So it's under a half hour. That's faster than going to Whole Foods and getting a juice. You know, driving in the car, ordering it, paying for it. So to me, way cheaper. We bought organic produce for about $30 on Monday for, I believe, all 5 days. And that's like doubling up our juice. So it's not, to me, that's not expensive. Obviously, also not really eating all the other things like meat and stuff. So I'm working out of the freezer right now. Hi, Victor's cat. So if it gets a little noisy, let's see if I can get the camera to turn over here. It just feels so good to get fresh. Like, I definitely notice the days I don't juice. Like last Friday, I think I skipped. We somehow didn't get to the store on time. I was really tired. I was having my post-chemo days, and I'm like, I know for sure I cannot skip that, because for me this is part of my energy. You know, it's a big part of my vegetable intake. So I do cook a lot of vegetables right now. Like last night I made, well, yesterday morning, I had chemo yesterday. I had my third of the 8th month of treatment yesterday. And I'm usually kind of tired afterwards. I just don't plan to do things. Like, I don't do laundry. I just, you know, make it a time where I can just sit and be okay on the couch. I'll do some work stuff with foundation if my head's clear. But, so I was like, you know, in the morning I'm just going to make myself soup. So I made a really good organic mushroom soup. No cream in it. It's all just blended with kale, because I had some kale for juicing. And I just pureed it all up with homemade chicken stock. And came home to a yummy soup. And I felt bad because Chuck's been fasting. So I'm like, sorry, this smells so good. And there won't be any left by the time he's done fasting. But I really like to support him in this because, you know, I've been doing the juicing for him because I know I've juiced in the past, and if that's all I'm eating, it is really hard to stick with it and have the energy to even bother with all of it. And he's got such, you know, a history of doing this for himself. And I know he can do it. It's truly not that. This is the labor of love. It's like, my love language is to cook, so it can be juicing too. And I like to chop the veggies and stuff, so that's, it's getting noisy. The other thing, like, for me, easy, right? It's just a real simple cutting board, super sharp knife. This happens to be a Cutco knife. Chuck came with Cutco knives. It's very nice. It was really funny when we got married a year ago. We both had some perfectly identical tools for the kitchen, which was so fun, so we ended up doubling up. But he came with a whole Cutco knife block, and these things are sharp. So that's super simple for me, is just to use it, you know, use a good sharp knife and not some little cheesy little knife that's not going to cut stuff up. That makes everything harder. Work harder, smarter, not harder. That's a good Chuck saying. But it's so true, especially in the kitchen. Like, if you don't have good tools, you don't need that many. Like, in a perfect kitchen for me, it has a good cutting board, sharp knife, you know, a couple tools like spatulas. Beads are squeaky. Let them go, we don't know. That is funny. So, thank you for joining me this morning. If you have any questions, drop below. I will leave our recipe. It's very simple. I mean, I just use things we have, things we like. You know, I can't do a lot of lemon, so I tend to do less lemon because it irritates my lining. And sometimes I'll just squeeze a lemon into his if he needs more. And same with ginger. Ginger can get really strong, so we do a little less of it just so it's not so strong and burns me. But Yes, makeup. Love makeup, and I've been sitting in the sun. It's been so nice here in Phoenix that I feel so good when I get some good sunshine on my body and in my body. It's a great way to do vitamin C. So I usually do great like the day after chemo. Lately it's been hitting me mid-Thursday and late Friday, like Friday and part of Saturday now, which I used to just lose Fridays. So it was a little hard last week when I kind of had a more quiet week. So I just have to make sure I'm setting myself up for that, because it's super disappointing when you can't just keep going the way you're used to going. So I'm just planning around it. Like I want to make sure I'm working really hard Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to make up for days I don't maybe get to work on stuff for the foundation and stuff. I don't want to let stuff like that go. So it's a learning process. I think the longer I'm on chemo, the less energy I have. So I'm working around that. But today we have a really big plan to go biking. After we do 2 hours of work, we're going to go bike and enjoy the day. So we love to blend our work and play if we can, especially working from home. Here goes the squeakies again. And Chuck's at the gym right now, swimming and lifting. So he's been really using his week to kind of put himself back on track physically, and you know, that ties into mentally and spiritually too. Like he's using the time that he would normally eat to pray, which is like such a good testimony to me, and it makes me do that. So like I use the same time alone. You know, I've been watching Netflix and stuff, and I'm like, I should do that. It's a good practice. It's actually what gives me peace and calmness and strength. So that's it. So I think I am maxing out on my juice container. If you can see, let's see if I can get it over here. I'm using this fun little thing that Chuck got me for Christmas, and I was like, I don't need that, but it's kind of cool. It follows you around. It's like a little thing. It's called Appy Genie or something like that. Just a little handheld, little thing you sit up and clips your phone in, and it'll go onto your social media and follow you. So I'm just trying it out. I'd love to do a couple cooking things because I love to cook. Have served as a personal chef for in a few situations for actors and kind of famous people I can't tell you about. So I've had a lot of just using like my nutritional knowledge from my own personal walks through all different kinds of diets and stuff. I've been able to get back to really basics of like no process anything and just make really yummy meals out of very simple ingredients, which serves me well now. You know, probably the top number of ingredients I use in a meal is 5. So I think healthy and fresh is best, and you get such good flavors. So thank you for joining me. Hope you have a great day. Drop some messages if you need the recipe.